biggest challenge organizations are facing today is the environment is so volatile, right? It's rapidly changing environment. Your market behavior is changing, your customer behavior is changing, your demand is changing. So keeping your workforce ready for a changing environment, to be able to react to be able to respond to, most importantly, a changing environment is the biggest challenge that organizations are facing. Even today, organizations are facing challenges with, how ready people are. Every time a change happens, and no organization does about at least 30%, 40% of the people embrace that change. So the change agility, if I use as a concept or a competency, is extremely critical for organizations. And that's a challenge and opportunity that organizations have today. The definition of workforce is changes. The gig economy, very fancy terminologies that are coming into the world today, will become a reality in this country as well. So what academic qualifications will no longer be, it is no longer, I'm a hotelier in an HR profession. So there are many such examples historically that existed. That will become the way India in particular, world is changed a little bit, but India in particular looks at talent, looks at intake of talent is going to change, and that organizations need to be prepared for, need to be ready for. More and more, the generation is very vulnerable. So there is a lot of emphasis organizations need to have on mental, physical well-being of people. I think there is a lot more investment that needs to be done around mental, physical well-being. And when I say mental, physical well-being, I also include elements of diversity into it, because I think for a healthy organization, diversity is extremely important. And diversity for me is not traditionally how many men versus women, diversity of thinking, diversity of actions, diversity of mindsets. That's important in an organization. So how organizations can develop that, people becoming more open. Numbers for me is not that much relevant, because the moment mindsets change, the moment people start looking at other gender, people with disabilities, all of that with the same level of intelligence, same level of maturity, same level of, I wouldn't use the word compassion because compassion is often a misunderstood statement, but same level of respect, I would use that word. That's the world that organizations need to. So the world is going to demand these changes on us, and organizations' readiness to change that is important. Now, HR has a similar journey to cover. HR needs to be more agile. Now I'm looking back at my 20 years of my life, and if ever someone told me that HR business partnering will be a centralized function in an organization, I would have looked at them, and years before I said anything can become centralized, can become a shared service, is not HR business partnering. It's become a reality. Right? HR needs to look at, and years before when we did a survey, I think it was at Standard Chartered, if I'm not mistaken, one of the customers were asked a question, of customers in general were asked a question, what do you want your bank to be? And somebody said, my bank should be invisible and accessible. So I'm saying, I don't want to see my bank. You don't want to be on my face, but when I need you there. So I think that is what HR is. HR should be invisible but accessible. The presence of HR should be in the form of systems, technology, services that we provide, which every customer feels every time they do something which is related to the people or whatever. But it's not glaring on their face. You take this approval, you take that approval, you take this, you take that, all of that. So it'll all be about making things simpler, faster, and better. It'll all be about what can I eliminate, what can I kill, what red tapeism can I take away, what bureaucracy can I kill. So that becomes critical. So the change agility brings in the way HR is structured as well. Traditional concepts and structures of HR will become no longer relevant. Big organizations have been forced to do it. Mid-sized organizations are already feeling the heat, and small-scale organizations will soon follow that heat of HR being looked at slightly different than the way talent acquisition, HR operations, HR partnering, all of that is. Technology, organizations which have not invested in HR technology right now is going to really feel the heat. Organizations should start making those investments, if not done already. There are a lot of the bigger challenge with HR and many organizations is every time there is a problem, we have thrown something at it. A lot of bandages that exist in organizations. So you have an ERP system which doesn't talk to your performance management system, which doesn't talk to your, your data analytics system. So they're all, and you run these patches of updates and of technology. So if an organization is spending $1,000, $500 is spending on making one person talk to the other or one system talk to the other. Organizations will be forced to go ahead and implement some seamless technology solutions, which empowers people to self-service, to self-care and self-heal and all of that. So yeah, I think now talent attraction, retention will continue to be a challenge. It will never go off for HR, but the kind of talent you look for, the kind of talent you retail, and the kind of strategies you adopt for retaining the talent will change. Performance-based differentiation of pay will become more and more relevant in the future. And I'm so worried to see how organizations react even in the current scenarios. While they are all looking at double increases to be given to organizations right now, they're being very reactive. They've all been very reactive because they've not been proactive in the past. If they have put their right talent at the right place, they wouldn't have been so worried when markets change, right? So our reward systems, our ability to attract and retain talent systems are very reactive to the market. You need to have an element of reactivity to the market and response to the market, but I think the pay systems, the reward systems need to evolve and needs to change. That will be a change that will come.